Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connecticut at Your Service, where we feature individuals that are making a difference in the community through their work, their volunteerism, and all with a purpose. We come to you live right here on Soundview Community Media TV each Tuesday at 6:30, where we get an opportunity to showcase individuals that share information and a little bit about themselves. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing a friend, a partner in the community, somebody who kind of gets it, lives it, and helps other people routinely. And that is my friend, Miss Natalie Pryce, who is the CEO of Priceless Consulting. How are you, Natalie?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing awesome having you here, and I can't wait until we start our conversation
Yes.
today. So just as I do with every guest, a lot of people know us by what we do, and they don't see us as regular people every day. So I always start my show with just asking you a little bit about you, what motivates you, what has helped you in your success of just being out in the community and helping others.
Well, I think a part of what I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I'm sitting in the seat that I feel that I was destined to be in, right? From a young age, I didn't know the capacity of that, but I have really good support. I have, a husband that I've been with for 20 years almost, and he doesn't ask me what I'm doing. He says, good luck, go out there, do it, right? Oh, how did that business deal go, right? I'm realizing now that not everybody has that support and how important that support is. I have my siblings and they're awesome, my parents. I have a card they gave me that talked about me and my business that I have on my vision board. So when I think about it, I actually have really good support with the people that matter. And I think when you have that support, nothing else really matters.
And you're somebody that a lot of people know in the community because you work with all age groups, and
Yes.
before I kind of move on, I just want to say you're fortunate, I'm fortunate. My husband, we're going on our anniversary of like 34 years together. And Vic, this is for you. I appreciate you, even if I don't say it all the time. And he watches my show. I tell everybody, I said, I got for sure one fan because he watches every show. And it's so important just to have people in your corner. And I know that you do so much, and people don't know our spouses. I got an award once, and my husband was in the audience, and I pointed them out, and they're like, yeah, he does exist. He
right?
does. And they're
He's
like,
real. You can poke him. 3D.
So we celebrate the people that believe in us, and you're somebody that's. Were you born and raised in Connecticut?
I was born and raised in Connecticut.
Okay.
I was born in Norwalk, Connecticut.
Oh, so that's not that far.
No, but I was made in Bridgeport.
You know what? I believe that because I think as long as I've been in Bridgeport, I've known you.
Yes.
And I've been here over 20 years, and kind of the way that we share our work together is helping people either starting businesses or just getting back to work, that a lot of people, and you do so many things. So before we get into just some advice, and I know that you coined a phrase that I can't wait to hear a little bit about, I know that you're associated with a lot of different organizations because not only do you live your work, but you also give back a lot to the community, to different causes and things. Tell me a little bit about some favorite ones and why they're your favorite one.
I think one of my favorites will always be Downtown Thursdays. I'm tired. I'm not saying I want to do it again, but I literally planned concerts, music and food, and I got to meet a lot of different vendors. Get to understand a lot about the community. I got to understand the processes and systems in the community. So when I have a issue, I understand it to a deeper extent. I really love that. I love Bridgeport and the concerts allowed me to do, which is the collab exchange, right? Where we have a co-retail space. So everything births something else, right? Even if it things I never thought I was going to be doing, it allowed me to have the opportunity to do something else, right? If you have to be intentional about the opportunities you take.
And be ready for opportunities. I think one of the things that I celebrate about you and some of the other people that we've had on the show is that they're not saying no. They're like, there's a project or there's this idea or that idea. Let's figure out how we make it work. And I want to say in the, when you were doing the downtown Thursday
Yes.
concerts. It wasn't just you, right?
Nope, I had a team. I had a team of about four gentlemen, and we all worked together. Through that, we formed the I Love Bridgeport, and we were doing these concerts. It was a lot of work. You know, every Wednesday you're looking at the weather like, please don't rain, please don't rain, please don't rain, right? Because you're thinking about the dollars that you might lose. But it was such a good experience. Now that I look at it, it taught me project management and how to manage a budget better, right? Because I was in charge of this huge budget of dollars coming in, dollars going out, and I don't volunteer to be the one in charge of the money. I think it was just given to me. It was like nobody else wanted to touch it, right? And I was forced to look at that. But I think that doing that prepared me for other opportunities that I didn't know I was going to get, right? Or maybe I wouldn't have been as open to if I didn't have those experiences.
I think and I went to a bunch of your concerts, so I know. And I think at its peak, I think I read somewhere that there were like 30,000 people.
We've had when we had our downtown Thursdays on the Green in Seaside, we had a lot of people.
And I think one of the things that your team really focused on was not only with the I Love Bridgeport, which I still have my t-shirt and I wear it every time I want somebody to know that I love this city. And I love the people in it, and that I celebrate all the ways that we can work together. And I call it social triage, right? Like we are the solution, and we have to figure that. And I think one of the ways that your team did that was to make sure that the vendors that were at these events were Bridgeport people.
Yeah.
That I just think that alone is stellar, because a lot of people say that there's no opportunity here. And I think in the opportunity is in what you make it.
Exactly. It's how you decide what lens you want to put on the situation, right? There's always the the empty lens, right? We could say that there's an issue, right? But why not just say it's half full and figure out the solution that we can come together and solve?
There is like a philosopher, and his name is Henry Thoreau, and Henry David Thoreau, and he would say, it's not what you're looking at that matters, it's what you see. So if you see nothing good, then nothing good will be there. If you see positive things and opportunities and things like that, and that's kind of what I celebrate in your role, that you help people see. I don't know how many times we talked about, you're like, Carmen, you gotta focus. And so we've helped collectively help people find jobs, opportunities. So before we get into kind of giving some advice and things like that, people that go into business or are looking to change careers, what are some pitfalls that you see?
I think that people don't know their value and their worth, right? And the way that you understand your value and your worth is taking an audit of your transferable skills, a combination of the hard skills and the soft skills, but not looking at it from one position. It's saying collectively, what do I have to bring? Collectively, I've planned a concert. Collectively, I've opened a retail store, right? When I look at all of my transferable skills that I was able to pick up along my journey, it produces a different value. But we have to start looking at the small accomplishments, things that we don't think are a big deal, but when we start putting them on our resume and speaking about them, right? Implemented concerts downtown, which drew 30,000 people and grossed almost, $100,000 in sponsorship. That's the way.
And Bridgeport vendors. It was right. You had a ripple effect of how Bridgeport benefits by positive activities. Money going back into the community, into the businesses in our city.
It's always being aware of your accomplishments and never devaluing them. And I think what I find when I'm working with my clients, they devalue the worth they bring to employers, and then they put employers at a very high value, where you get so blindsided, you don't see anything else as an opportunity, but your employer.
Or that they're right.
Right. But your employers will always look at other opportunities. They'll always look at ways to be more efficient. They'll always look at ways to support the bottom line. So I always want people to think of themselves as the brand that I've coined is called the careerpreneur. How do we use our transferable skills to maneuver through this new world of constant disruption with an entrepreneur mindset? We have no choice. Our youth today will not have the span of work we used to have. Right? I'm not even seeing the span of work that used to happen. 10, 15, 30 years at one place. That's not even feasible. Companies don't even last that long anymore, right? They come, they go, right? You have your few staples. So we really have to start looking at ourselves as the entity of us and really thinking, okay, how do I constantly educate myself? Because educating yourself is the key. Never too old to learn, right? How do I put myself at the right tables in the right rooms? Where does my LinkedIn page look like? And everybody is scared of this social media and LinkedIn. And my thing is, you're not smart enough to break it. We're not smart enough to break it. Go in, figure out how to use LinkedIn. There's 50,000 coaches on YouTube that can teach you.
The Department of Labor does workshops for free.
Exactly. But the point is, there's no lack of information, right? But we have to decide to go out and get it. Nobody's going to put it at our fingertips.
And what's right for you.
What's right for you.
You know, I'm more of like a hands-on learner. Like you tell me better. If I got to read it, I might skip some stuff. I might not get to the bottom of the whole thing. But if I talk to people like you, Natalie, that are giving me a different perspective or a different thing to look at, or even, really, you thought that? Like
right?
I have a coach, my friend Jennifer, who you spoke to.
Yes.
And when I tell you that people that know you every day don't see you in the same lens, that don't, let me tell you, we go to places and we're like the cat's meow. I'm like, Bridgeport, I'm right here, I'm here for you. Look at me, take a look at me, give me an opportunity kind of thing. And I think that you and I champion for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want Bridgeport to acknowledge more of the work that we do. But I don't need Bridgeport to acknowledge the work that I do to know that I'm great.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean by that?
I agree with that.
I'm very clear on my purpose, right? I'm very clear on the direction I want to go. And Bridgeport is a part of that, right? And I think also with Bridgeport, we have to remember, and I always say this, it's not healthy, right? And it's kind of been through a lot. Right? Generations of just a lot between, we got brownfields that we see that affect the development, right? Our education system. I've always said, and I think I give it so much grace because of this, it's like an abuse victim. An abuse victim can't make rash, good decisions, right? So right now, I look at myself as one of the champions of Bridgeport. You can't talk bad about it around me. I'll cut you off. Only I could talk about my city.
The sky is blue.
Exactly. Only I could talk about it. But I always will champion for this city, right? I just look at myself as a link in the work that I do, as a link to a chain that we all are a part of. I'm not trying to do it all. I think there has to be a balance of how much we give. Right? Because it's very easy to feel burnt out and then you start getting jaded. And I don't want that. So I think it's important to take it for the face value that it is so that we can address the needs the proper way.
So do you think that, and thinking about the people that you've worked with in the past, like what are some things that have held them, outside of, I don't know my worth, I'm not sure, I think I can do this, but nobody's giving me the opportunity to do that. What might be some other things that it would be helpful to overcome?
What do you mean, for career and everything?
Yeah.
How to write your own resume. I think it's really important to understand what your resume says, to understand what each bullet point really means to the core. I think that we put too much faith in other people talking about our lived accomplishments that didn't live it. And I think that we need to practice interviewing. I practice interviewing. I'm an entrepreneur, but I have to interview for things, right? Opportunities.
And present.
Present, right? I think that we need to, I always tell my clients this. I was a cheerleader for one semester in
now that makes sense.
one semester in high school. And, in high school, football teams scrimmage. They scrimmage each other all the time. They scrimmage, they prepare for the game, they're always ready, they know the play. We don't do that for interviews. We don't scrimmage. We don't practice the interview questions. They're in front of us, that we can Google 50,000 of them, right? We don't align the interview questions with our resume so that we have a proper story when we're telling it, right? We don't practice. And then we get into an interview and we're like, I didn't know what to say. Well, of course, you didn't practice. You haven't interviewed in 10 years almost, 5 years, 3 years. You didn't practice. I think we expect those things to come natural, but it doesn't come natural if you don't practice.
Yeah. Even what you want or even what they ask, what I'm finding, and you let me know if this is different with the people that you're interacting and working with. People more so now are really saying, this is not what I want to do, or I only want to work these hours. Let me tell you, before, and you know that I'm in workforce development.
Yes.
So our job is to help people that need resources to employment, that maybe they can't get their next job kind of on their own.
Yep.
So we try to give them resources and all of that. And I will tell you, in working with them over the last couple of years have helped me find my voice, because I'm somebody that I do what you tell me. I go to work every day. I love my job. If it's day, night, weekend, same thing. I know you, same thing. You know, I love that. And I think in the last couple of years, well, mostly this year, it's really been when you're thinking of and you're voicing it, it becomes fruition.
Yes.
You know, when they're saying, I only want to work 10 hours, well, I'm like, I want to work 10 hours too and make some good money. We've got a caller. Hello and welcome to Connecticut at your service. Do you have a question for Miss Natalie?
Yes, I do actually. I just want to first say I commend you for all the work you do. It's amazing, and you know, I just think that the city of Bridgeport is very blessed to have you as a representative. But I do have a question as far as what do you say? It's great that you have such a solid support system to help you out. What would you say to a young woman, a young man or woman that is trying to navigate themselves through entrepreneurship that doesn't have that support system? What advice would you give them?
I think the advice I would give them, okay, so I always say this. When you're interested, you do the bare minimum. But when you're committed, you do what it takes. So support or no support, I would have been where I am, right? The road was just a little bit smoother, right? I think that we have to decide. There's going to be things that and I'm not going to say that when I first started my business and I was not looking for work, my mom wasn't like, so you sure you don't want a job? Are you sure you don't want a job, right? I mean, I had to listen to that, right? And I remember I had to tell my mom, stop putting worry in the world for me. I'm not worried. I don't need you to worry. Worry is an energy, right? When you have people worrying about you, every time they call you, oh, yeah, so did you find anything? I didn't need that energy. So I had to train, I hate to say, I had to make sure I trained my people around me to say, this is what I believe in. I believe in this. Not only do I believe in it, I'm going to get up every day, Monday through Friday. Sometimes it was Monday through Friday, Friday through Sunday, and I'm going to work this vision. I'm still working it, right? I'm going to work this vision. No matter what anybody says, I'm going to work this vision. I'm going to be in rooms with people that don't believe in me. They're going to see me to be less to them. I'm going to work this vision. It is my vision. It is for me to hold. It's for me to carry. It's for me to deliver, right? And I think that's the core what we have to believe. But we also have to have good board of directors around us, you know, like Carmen, right, where you can be like, I know this is my vision, but I need a little help with figuring something out, right? And we have to be willing to listen to that. So my advice to anybody, young, old, or anything like this, is that you have to be clear on your vision, and you have to work that vision.
And just like you said, practice it and voice it. I think that's really important, because as we're networking, because let me tell you, and we were talking about this yesterday, that at the end of the day, business is about relationships.
Oh, God.
People want to know that they can trust you, that you're going to deliver what you say you're going to deliver on. But also, as you're voicing, you know, what you want to manifest in itself, people will attach to that and will want to help you because you're voicing that. And if you're a young person, I mean, this city has 100 Girls Leading.
Yes.
They have, I know that Caribe has a youth entrepreneurial program.
I just came from that today. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. Corey, you got us all excited.
Oh, gosh. So I had the blessing of being able to contract with Caribe's YELT program. It's the Young Entrepreneurship Training. We had our first session today. And it was through relationships, right, that I got that contract. You know, that's important. And we had our first session today, and I was only expecting 12 students. I had 29 kids in that room. I could not believe it. I didn't know. I was like, okay, so we're going to have to rethink how we're going to lay it out today. But I'm really excited because I'm going to divide them into groups, and they're all going to start their own companies where they use their skill sets, transferable hard skills and soft skills.
And they selling it. And this is not new for you.
No.
You've done other programs like this where young people are creating companies and, you know, and showcasing them. And I think that is absolutely amazing.
I'm a very hands-off with young people. I give them what they need and then step back and let them create.
That is amazing. So find a mentor, voice what it is, and then align. You know, a lot of young people don't share enough with their parents. You know, they're going to be our biggest champions of things, you know?
Yes.
And I want to see you do good. But if you're always coming to me with demands of how I need a ride here, I need a ride there, to give you an example, you know, it takes a different kind of spin, but people genuinely want to help other people.
They do.
Don't make it that I'm working harder than you.
Yes.
That's the only thing that I ask.
Yes.
But there is definitely opportunity. Voice it, and it will come.
Thank you.
Did you have another caller question, or are we all set? I can't hear you, caller. A little bit louder.
I think we have a bad connection, but you guys are so powerful. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Listen, be well and get out there and do it.
Yes.
Bye. I love calls like that.
Yeah, that was great.
You know, I get so excited by the calls. You know, we're a live show, so
Yes.
sometimes I'm like, oh, we got a caller. So, so if somebody's looking to make a career change, or I want to know more about this careerpreneur, and you've spoken professionally because you also have a TED Talk.
Yes,
Right?
I have a TEDx.
Tell me a little bit about your TED Talk, and then
All right.
about the careerpreneur.
So it kind of goes into my TEDx talk was at Bridgeport, University of Bridgeport, and it was in 2019. And I spoke about the state of work and how Bridgeport played such a significant role in the way we see work today between all the manufacturing. What I found so interesting was that when we had all that manufacturing, we had all this training going. So people could just leave a company, go to another one, and they had the skills. If you don't know, right now we're in a very much a talent deficit, right?
Yes.
People lacking skills that we
Yes.
need for what we want moving forward, right? So that's a big problem that we're facing, not being able to identify our skills. So I was able to speak about the history of Bridgeport and work.
That's awesome. Hello, caller. Thank you for calling Connecticut at your service. You have a question for Miss Natalie.
Yes, I was wondering how she kind of like narrowed down her vision and just got so confident with it.
I'm still narrowing it down. I'm still working on it. I think your vision is always going to be something you work on because you change as a person, right? So, you know, there's a core to it, but you change as a person. I think I've gotten this focused. COVID helped, right? COVID eliminated a lot of things off of my plate, and it allowed me to see better. I didn't realize how much I was doing, and sometimes I'm just going. I'm very big on planning. I love 90-day planning is like a niche for me. That's what I do a lot of because it's seeable, right? So if I can't do it in 90 days, it can't be done, right? It needs to be a bigger goal, so I need to set it at a higher pace, right? It's setting realistic expectations that allow the vision not to just be a vision, but actually feasible, sustainable, and probably profitable, right? So it's really important that, you know, it's not just a vision, it's a vision that's been studied, researched, all of those things, right? So I really I've been through a lot in business, and I'm really good at watching things and paying attention to immediate conditions and emerging conditions. I see what's not happening and what's about to happen.
And what's missing.
And what's missing, right? And the main reason for the careerpreneur was because as a minority, I love when people want to start businesses, but there's more to things than just starting a business. You know what I mean? I think we use entrepreneurship as an escape because we want to be our own bosses. I'm my worst boss. I'm strict. I'm worse than any other boss than I ever had, right?
And you have to be, right?
And you have to be. And then the real truth is there's entrepreneurship does not exist without work. So whether you work for somebody else or you're going to work for yourself, the word work is going to play a part in it, right? So that helped me become real clear on my vision, is that either way I got to work, right? And I have to decide who am I going to work, am I going to work hard for somebody else or myself? The truth is I work hard for both because I have clients and I work hard for those clients as well. So my advice to you is get really clear on your 90-day goals, right? What can I accomplish in the 90-day goals? Be realistic, right? If you can't afford it, if you don't have the resources, if you don't have the tools, if it goes beyond 90 days, it's not a realistic goal. Be very clear in that. We'll start there and then move forward.
And one of as you talk about plans is take it into little chunks.
Chunks.
So this is what we can realistically do in 90 days. I wish I was more like you because I'm a business owner that's led by my heart. Like if it feels good to me and I feel it's making a difference in the community, then that's what I want to do. And I love volunteering better than charging because sometimes you just feel bad, but at the end of the day, business owners, just like everybody else, have got to make money. And I think the other point that I just wanted to add is don't be afraid to throw out what doesn't work.
Oh yeah, I when people say, "Oh, I'm scared I'm gonna fail," I was like, I do that 2 or 3 times a week.
I sometimes do it every day.
Exactly, but failure is it's just an event. It happened, didn't feel good, I left it. It's a dead-end street, a cul-de-sac. I went down the wrong way, oh shoot, dead end, turn around and go out the right way. That's all it is, right? Some failures are bigger than others, but I think if we give power to failure, right? And then it makes us not want to move forward once or twice a week.
Try it different and keep the things that work and then get rid of the other things because some of those things might be fixable. So I guess at the end of the day, we're saying, voice what you want, stick with it, be committed to it, do your goals, and then don't be afraid to kind of change them a little bit to what works, especially to the conditions. Like I try to stay very true to Bridgeport. Like I stay very close to home. But sometimes the money ain't in Bridgeport.
Exactly. Exactly.
So take a look at that and what that means.
Exactly.
So thank you, caller, unless you have another question.
That's all. Thank you so much.
All right,
You're welcome.
Have a great day. So Natalie, we are running out of time. So tell me kind of in less than a minute, some quick tips that might be, and I think we put your contact information up there for people to reach you or check out your website. I get so excited when you're in the room. We talked about this yesterday. How much time do we have?
Yes.
So some quick tips.
Get your LinkedIn pages together. They're powerful, right? I do look at people's LinkedIn pages. Get a headshot. Simple, right? Because we all have these amazing 8-megapixel cameras. I'm not saying you have to hire somebody, but yeah, if you can, do it. Get a headshot and be open to change. Be open to new possibilities. Be open to continually learning. I think that's going to be important in this new world that we're going into.
I like that you're talking about, keep learning. So thank you, Natalie, for being on the show today. I want to thank all our viewers, our callers, our team. You make all the difference. Make sure to tune in next time. Each Tuesday, we're here each Tuesday at 6:30, and we're showcasing individuals that are making a difference. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, and make sure that you support and watch us next time right here on Soundview Community TV. We'll see you next time.